Good morning, Jason. Good morning, Dave.
The Museum of Political Corruption. You've had this idea for a couple of years, at least. I think I saw references to it back in 2013. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's been kicking around for a couple of years. It started when I had a casual conversation with one of our local politicians, and I was asking her, what do we have here in the Capital District that we could be a bit more lighthearted, a little bit more irreverent about? We're such a serious, hardworking folk here in Albany. And then it struck me, we have corruption. And rather than run away from it, which is something we can't do anyway, we might as well use it. It could be a resource for us. So I thought it'd be a great idea to have this museum. Since we've got corruption, we might as well learn from it. We can laugh at it, and we can learn from it at the same time. And that's been the premise ever since. And over this past year, I've assembled an amazing team on our board of trustees and board of advisors. I mean, we've got Yale law professors on our team, and we've got the director of museum studies from Harvard University is helping out with this. So I'm just in awe over some of the people that we have. We've really built a dream team. And we recently got our New York State charter, which means that we are an official organization as well as an educational institution. And we just received our non-for-profit status, too, so we can start reaching out and getting the donations that we need to build this.
Wow! Where? So you would build from scratch or an existing edifice?
Probably we would build from scratch. It depends on a number of issues. One of them would be concerning what we need for the sort of interactive, high-tech displays that this museum would want to house. And also if we have any artifacts or other things that need special care. If there's a pre-existing building that can be done, I'm sure that would be preferable. But we're going to keep our options open for either. In any case, we want to make sure that this does get built in downtown Albany, probably somewhere around Pearl Street, as I say, a stone's throw from the state capitol, so our state legislators can come visit this museum on their lunchtime.
Great location, and it's interesting. It's not just a thought, not just an idea. It's coming to fruition. You have taken the steps, and you're making some headway with this. Ideas of what may be housed in the museum itself.
Well, the museum tour will actually take on three different phases. The first thing you do is, of course, you pay your admission bribe to get in. And parents are encouraged to lie about their children's ages, so they get the lower bribe. So you walk in, and you walk immediately into the lobby of lobbyists, where you encounter the perpetually revolving door. And then you're in the first part of the museum, where you're actually challenged with understanding what corruption is. What is corruption? Is all corruption illegal? Is some corruption legal? I mean, these are the sorts of arguments that seem to be going on right now down south of us at the Shelley Silver trial. So we want people to understand that and also understand how corruption does, in fact, affect us on a daily basis. After that, the second part of the museum will be a tour through the very colorful and rich history of corruption in New York State, from colonial times all the way up to the present. So you'll be able to see that. You'll be able to learn more about the Tammany Hall era and all the other interesting things. I mean, it's a fascinating story. It really is, with corruption, and it's a very human story, too. As I've told others, this museum really it's not out to demonize politicians. It's out to humanize all of us. We understand this stuff goes on, and we want to fix it. And as a matter of fact, the third part of the museum will be called Solutions Hall. And this is where museum goers will be encouraged to offer their own solutions to what they feel could help combat corruption. There'll be space in this hall, I suppose, for good government groups to offer their own solutions, as well as other solutions that have been proposed, even by state legislators, to see what we can figure out that will actually finally work. So that's what an experience at the museum will be like. Of course, if you're thirsty or hungry, there will be the Cozy Crony Cafe. and if you want to pick up an item or two on the way out, we will have a lovely gift shop which will be selling kickbacks and loopholes and how to cook your books cookbooks. So we have it all planned out.
I think there's a market for this. Bruce Roeder talking to us about the Museum of Political Corruption. Mark, or Bruce, I don't know if you're familiar with in Washington, D.C., the Crime Museum, which we went to a number of times, which is now closed, I might add. And I'm looking on their website. It says, sadly, due to unforeseen circumstances, the Crime Museum in D.C. is now closed. Did you ever go there, and did you study that museum?
No, I haven't had the chance to do that. We do know, of course, of the Spy Museum.
Right.
There are a number of comparable museums. There's the Spy Museum out in Las Vegas. There is the Mob Museum. And get a load of this, guys. They just opened up the American Museum of Tort Law in Winsted, Connecticut. This was a pet project of Ralph Nader's, the Museum of Tort Law, which displays, say, defective products or potentially dangerous products at this museum. Well, I say if you could have a museum of tort law, you could certainly have a museum of political corruption.
Are you getting any blowback on this other than the people that tried to cut off our cell phone conversation earlier?
Just the people that try to cut off our cell phone. No, actually, I can tell you that the response has been overwhelmingly positive. It has not. There have been some who've said, well, why do you want to bring more corruption to New York, to Albany? And I'm saying that's not the case at all. It's already here. It's what we do with it that matters. And if we can show that the city of Albany is now hosting a museum that seeks to educate the public, inform the public, and hopefully help solve this problem, I think we're all the better for it. And I think this is great for our community. It's great for upstate New York. And we're looking forward to having this museum.
Fascinating idea, and I guess the question is it the politician that is fuels the corruption, or is it the corruption that fuels the politician here in New York State? But some ideas I had for the gift shop, maybe client number 9 perfume, or just serving pork at the cafe.
Oh yes, I already came up with the client number 9 pour homme for him. Yes. We're calling it the bracing scent of Albany. Yes.
Very good.
I love it, Bruce.
Bruce, now you are a professor of music at College of St. Rose?
I am. I'm a professor of music. I'm actually a composer. I'm a classical composer. I write orchestral pieces, and people ask me, what am I doing with this museum? And I say, look, if anything at all, I'm an orchestrator. Mm-hmm. I know how to place the instruments where, and that's essentially what I'm doing with this project. I know how to place the best people where and allow them to express their own creativity. And so far, everything is coming along harmoniously. We're all working wonderfully together on this, and it's a really exciting project.
Did you lock up a domain name for a website already?
Yes, we are at www.museumofpoliticalcorruption.org. Mm-hmm. Please visit us there. We do have a donate button for your help. It would be greatly appreciated. And, and we're really moving forward with this.
I think in full disclosure, we must make the announcement that the project would be funded by private money, and you wouldn't be getting any kickbacks or anything from the government.
No, I assure you there are no real kickbacks associated with this, although, as I said, we do sell these kickback buttons on our museum store. But,
great.
Yeah.
Great. Well, Bruce, best of luck with the project. If all goes well, when would you open?
Well, we're hopefully going to open in 2019 unless we get some real big donations sooner. And I would love to accelerate our schedule. It simply depends on the funding. That's all.
Hey,
great.
By 2019, you may have many more things to add to the museum.
That's true.
Well, I'm sure we will, and I hope you guys will come and visit. And if you come and visit, please ask for the discount because you know somebody in that museum.
Gotcha.